the specifics, they can still feel a bit hazy. What do they really mean? And maybe more importantly, how can we actually support the well-being of neurodiverse people, especially, those on the autism spectrum?
Right. That's exactly what we're hoping to get into today.
Yeah, that's our goal for this deep dive.
Our aim really is to go beyond just the basic definitions and truly unpack what autism and neurodiversity are about.
Okay.
But the core mission, I think, is exploring how we can genuinely foster well-being, focusing specifically on individuals on the autism spectrum. We're talking real understanding, compassion, and a true commitment to inclusivity.
Exactly. And we've got some great sources to help us do that. We're drawing from episode 60 of Lifelines by Supreme Medic, that's Autism and Neurodiversity, Understanding Wellbeing.
Right.
And also a related piece from the Your Health Deserves a Lifeline series, both by Dr. Surtaram Vishnoi.
Yes, Dr. Vishnoi. It's really valuable to have that perspective, a physician who's also a strong advocate for, inclusive healthcare.
Absolutely. His expertise is going to be really helpful here.
Definitely. So in this deep dive, we're tackling some key areas. First, just getting clear on the terms, autism, neurodiversity. Then we'll really explore the well-being of autistic individuals. And that means looking at, the challenges, yes, but also the unique strengths that are so often there.
It's crucial.
And finally, we'll discuss practical, sort of tangible ways we can all offer better support.
Okay, great. So let's dive right into the core of it then. Let's unpack these definitions, maybe starting with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD.
Okay.
Now, Dr. Vishnoi explains it as a developmental condition, but, it's much more nuanced than just a simple label, isn't it?
It really is. ASD fundamentally affects how someone thinks, how they interact with others, and just how they experience the world.
Right.
And that word spectrum is just so critical here. It's not like a straight line from mild to severe. It's more like a wide, varied landscape of how autism shows up. And that means support needs can vary incredibly. One person might need quite a bit of support day to day. Another might navigate things much more independently.
In the defining characteristics, Dr. Vishnoi points to two main areas.
That's right. The first area covers differences in social communication and interaction.
Okay.
This can be really subtle sometimes. It might mean challenges, say, interpreting unspoken cues like body language or tone of voice, or maybe difficulties with the sort of back-and-forth rhythm of conversations, or in forming and keeping up reciprocal relationships.
And the second area?
The second involves what are often called restricted or repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities.
Okay, like what?
Well, that could mean specific repetitive movements, maybe a strong need for routine and predictability, or having really intense, focused interests in particular subjects.
And it's so important to stress, like our sources do, that autism isn't something temporary. It's a lifelong part of who someone is.
Exactly, lifelong.
But, and this is key, it shows up uniquely in every single person, bringing, a whole distinct set of strengths right alongside any challenges they might face.
Absolutely. And that understanding flows really naturally into the broader concept of neurodiversity. How does that fit in?
Well, neurodiversity, as the sources lay it out, is this really foundational kind of empowering idea. It suggests that neurological differences, we're talking autism, ADHD, dyslexia, lots of others, are just, natural variations in the human brain.
Right. Not deficits.
Exactly. It's saying there isn't just one right or typical way for a brain to be wired.
Precisely. The core idea of neurodiversity is that these neurological variations shouldn't be seen as problems to be fixed.
Yeah.
Instead, they should be recognized, maybe even celebrated, as just natural parts of human diversity. So the focus shifts, from trying to make someone normal to understanding and supporting their unique way of being and their abilities.
So it's really about a fundamental shift, isn't it? Towards acceptance, deeper understanding, and just creating genuinely inclusive spaces for all these different ways our brains work.
Absolutely. It's about seeing the richness that comes from that cognitive diversity. Okay, so now let's dig a bit deeper into the well-being of individuals, specifically on the autism spectrum. This is where things get even more nuanced.
Definitely. Because, often the conversation about autism can really zero in on the challenges. But Dr. Vishnoi's work emphasizes a much broader picture. Let's maybe start with some of the potential physical and mental health challenges that can affect well-being.
Okay, so the sources point to a few key areas. Sensory sensitivities are often a big one.
Right.
This could mean being really easily overwhelmed by sounds, bright lights, certain textures, even smells that other people might not even notice. Anxiety and depression are also, unfortunately, more common among autistic individuals, and sleep disturbances can be quite prevalent too.
And when you think about it, these things are often connected, aren't they? Like, Dr. Vishnoi mentions how difficulties navigating social cues. Well, that could understandably lead to more anxiety in social settings.
Exactly. And that anxiety over time could contribute to feelings of isolation or loneliness. And these kinds of struggles, they might not always be obvious to others. They can be quite subtle sometimes.
Right.
So it's really important to recognize these are real issues that need, sensitive acknowledgement and proactive support. The fact that anxiety and depression rates are higher, especially around adolescence and early adulthood, really drives home the need for support systems that get it.
But, and this is so vital, it's not only about the challenges. The sources are very clear about highlighting the unique strengths and talents often found in autistic people. Can you give us some examples?
Oh, absolutely. Many autistic individuals have really remarkable strengths. Things like an incredible attention to detail or the ability to focus with extraordinary intensity on subjects they're passionate about. And often you see highly developed specialized talents, maybe in art or technology, music, mathematics.
Like that intense focus could mean someone becomes amazing at coding, or maybe they see artistic details others miss.
Precisely. It's about how these neurological differences can manifest as real talents. And supporting those strengths, nurturing them, well, that's fundamental for self-worth and overall well-being.
It seems obvious when you put it like that.
It really is. When we consciously shift from just seeing deficits to actually identifying and empowering these abilities, it can be truly transformative. It's about creating environments where these unique talents can actually shine and be valued.
Another really interesting point from the sources is the role of routine and structure. Why is that often so important for well-being?
Yeah, that comes up a lot. For many autistic people, predictability offers a crucial sense of safety. It can significantly cut down on anxiety. Having clear routines, knowing what to expect, it helps navigate the sort of inherent chaos of daily life. It creates a framework that feels more secure and stable.
And that doesn't have to mean total rigidity, does it? The sources mention things like visual schedules, checklists, clear reminders.
Yeah.
Tools that help provide structure.
Exactly. It's not necessarily about inflexible rules, but about creating an environment that feels understandable and predictable. That predictability can really help with emotional regulation and just contribute to a better sense of overall well-being.
Okay, so we understand more about the challenges, the strengths, the importance of structure. What does this mean for actual practical support?
Right. That's the next logical step. How do we translate this understanding into real-world actions that support neurodiverse well-being? Let's start with creating inclusive environments.
Okay.
Our sources really stress that inclusivity isn't just a nice idea. It means actively, intentionally respecting neurodivergent people, accepting them as they are, valuing their ways of being at home, school, work, everywhere.
And it goes beyond just having a positive attitude, right?
Yeah.
There are concrete things we can do. What are some examples?
Definitely concrete things. A big one is managing sensory input.
The sensory overload.
Yeah. So in shared spaces, maybe that means reducing harsh lighting, minimizing background noise, being mindful of strong perfumes or cleaning products.
Makes sense.
Clear communication is also key. Using plain language, avoiding ambiguity or maybe too much sarcasm or abstract stuff. Visual aids can help too. And ensuring access to assistive communication tech if needed.
And underlying all these practical adjustments, it feels like fostering genuine understanding and empathy in the broader community is just as vital.
Oh, absolutely. Educating people about neurodiversity itself, about the diversity within neurodiversity that helps break down stereotypes and builds a culture where differences are genuinely accepted, even appreciated.
Yeah, seeing them as valuable.
Exactly. Valued parts of human variation.
Now, another critical support area mentioned is tailored mental health support.
Yeah.
How is that different from, say, standard therapy?
Good question. The sources emphasize that mental health approaches often need adapting for autistic individuals, considering their unique experiences and processing styles.
Okay.
So, for example, traditional talk therapy might be more effective if it incorporates visual supports. Social skills training can offer concrete strategies. And things like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can be modified to address anxiety or depression in ways that are perhaps more tangible and relatable for an autistic person.
Which really highlights how important it is for mental health professionals to not just be generally skilled, but have specific knowledge and sensitivity regarding neurodivergent clients.
Precisely. They need to be really attuned to the nuances to provide care that's truly effective and supportive.
Okay. And beyond the specialized support, the sources also bring up the basics promoting healthy habits.
Yes. Things that benefit everyone but can be especially impactful. Regular physical activity, a reasonably balanced diet, getting enough sleep.
The foundation.
Exactly. These basics can really bolster both physical and mental health for neurodiverse individuals, improving resilience and overall well-being.
And finally, there's the role of advocacy. Why is that so crucial?
Advocacy is vital because access to the right resources isn't always guaranteed. We need to push for equitable access to things like appropriate therapies, suitable educational support, reasonable accommodations in the workplace. These things can make a huge difference in quality of life.
Right. It's about leveling the playing field.
It is, and it's also about advocating for fundamental rights, ensuring neurodiverse individuals are treated with dignity and equality, pushing for policies that prevent discrimination and guarantee equal opportunities.
So it's really about building a whole system of support that empowers people to thrive. Now, as we sort of wrap things up, the focus shifts a bit, doesn't it? From just recognizing difference to actively celebrating neurodiversity.
Yes, exactly. It's moving beyond simple tolerance or acceptance. It's about truly valuing the unique perspectives, the different ways of thinking, the talents that autistic and other neurodiverse individuals bring.
They enrich society.
They absolutely do. Their perspectives can fuel innovation, offer insights others might miss. It adds so much richness to our world.
And underpinning this celebration, you have empathy and respect.
Absolutely fundamental. Empathy, really trying to understand someone else's experience, their challenges. That's the bedrock for a society that truly values neurodiversity. And just consistently showing respect for individual needs, preferences, boundaries. That's how we build genuinely inclusive spaces where everyone feels they belong.
So what can we as individuals practically do to support the autistic and neurodiverse community?
Well, the sources suggest a few things. We can look for opportunities to volunteer with organizations doing good work in this area. We can make a real effort to keep learning, to educate ourselves about neurodiversity, and just be more aware, more understanding in our daily interactions.
Small things can add up.
Definitely. It's about each of us taking proactive steps, however small, to help create a more inclusive world.
So bringing this all together, what's the main takeaway message we should leave with?
I think the core message is that neurodiversity isn't a flaw. It's a natural, valid part of human variation.
Right.
And true well-being for everyone comes from empowering autonomy, honoring uniqueness, and offering unconditional respect. It's not about forcing people into one narrow definition of normal.
That feels like such a powerful and necessary shift in perspective.
It really is. And it echoes that line from Dr. Vishnoy's article, which feels like a perfect summary. Because every mind, neurodivergent or not, deserves a lifeline.
Wow. Yeah, that really says it all. Okay, so just to quickly recap our deep dive today, we've tried to clarify the definitions of autism and neurodiversity. We've explored the many facets of well-being for autistic individuals, challenges and strengths, and we've looked at practical ways to offer meaningful support.
And we really hope this discussion has given you, the listener, a clearer, maybe more nuanced understanding, and hopefully highlighted why fostering genuine inclusivity and compassion is just so incredibly important.
Definitely. And maybe, as a final thought for you to ponder, consider the subtle ways our society might still be built around neurotypical assumptions. And think about what small changes, maybe even just in your own interactions or spaces, could help create environments that feel more welcoming and inclusive for absolutely everyone.
That's a great closing thought. Thank you for joining us on this important exploration today.
And thank you for being part of this conversation with us. If you're interested in learning more, you can find resources over at suprememedic.com. We'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.